Hi guys, welcome to another cool film. Alright guys, so in this cool film, I want us to look at a special use case of JSPs and serverlets. And most of the time, some of this cool film that is out of the blue is due to working experience and certain exposures that comes across your way. So I remember um, when I was learning GSPs and serverlet, there's always this thing that goes like a Java JSP, that's a Java server page is a serverlet. A Java server page is a serverlet, or a Java server page turns to a serverlet. And I'd really not seen that practical aspect of it. So it's just some of those things that you just swallow. Or probably when you get to know something like the definition of Java. What is Java? Java is an object-oriented programming language, and it goes on, it follows the free form. You ask yourself, what's the meaning of all this? So it's just one of those things. So in this code, I want us to look at GSPs and serverlets, but with an automatic process being a simple scenario or use case. And when I say an automatic process, what do I mean? All that I'm trying to say is that you have a web application or you have a mobile application. The application in particular could be bounded by an interface for all the cases. So you have this web application that is bounded by an interface. You have this mobile application that is bounded by an interface. And probably you have resources on the application um that has to be accessed in an automatic way. What do I mean? If you have this URL and this URL is the location of a resource, and for instance, you take a use case whereby we are creating an application whereby you have a wallet on a certain platform, and in the wallet you have on that platform, you can grant access to certain people, or you can give share a URL to a certain resource on your wallet whereby people can automatically go into your wallet and have a feel of that platform experience. And you can do that. But the thing is that the application is bounded by a page. So how do you make that possible so that a person who is not even existing on the platform can have access to such a feature? And that's what I want us to look at in this school film. It's a little bit abstract, but I trust you me, it makes a lot of sense when you interact with a lot with a platform like, for instance, if you take Facebook. Let's do this. If you go to facebook.com, any application that requires you to be a part of the platform before you can access it. So Facebook, for instance, this is the gateway to Facebook. If you are not a part of the Facebook platform, you cannot have any feel, any experience, any connection with anybody in the world when you're on this, because you are behind the Facebook wall unless you are part of it. So what if you have a friend that is already a part of it, but he wants you to be able to have a feel of what Facebook look like, or to even have certain access to certain features which doesn't require you to really exist on Facebook? How do you go about that? So that's what we want to look at. That's why it's an automatic process, and we want to be able to make that possible. It's not only Facebook, it could be any platform. It could even be a banking platform which is online. And that banking platform online allows you to have a service whereby you see wallet contributions. And for wallet contributions, you don't necessarily have to have a wallet with them before you can contribute. The owner or the user that has a wallet on that platform can generate a URL or a service whereby with that URL, that location on the platform, you can also have perform some wallet contribution, even do anything that a human computer interaction will allow with regards to you not being a part of the platform, but you interacting with the platform for whatever reasons that is known to you. So that's what we want to look at in this code film. So we'll go straight ahead and actually start that project. So first of all, we'll click on file and we'll create a new uh, dynamic web project. That's a normal web project. The reason is that we are following the JSP and serverlet way of building. not the Spring MVC way. And there's a big difference between the two. So go ahead and just call this one automatic service. All right. Then mostly keep the default. You can actually reduce the dynamic web project to something like 2.5, not that high. Then you go to next, you keep this, and the output is here. And we'll generate the web.xml, then we'll generate our service. All right, so what we are doing is that we want to use JSPs and serverlets to create that automatic process. So we've looked at our use case, and we are saying that don't necessarily be a part of Facebook. But there's something on Facebook that's so cool that I want you to have um, a physical, an online experience with, but you don't necessarily need to be part of Facebook. And the use case can go on and on and on. So how well you can think around that is also very cool. So an automatic process or anything that has to do with I don't need to necessarily be a part of the platform, but hey, they are saying this is so cool. So how do I get to experience it? How do I get to get a feel of it? So that's what we want to really look at. So let's remove the boundaries. The boundaries should still exist, yeah, because if you want to be part, you have to be part. But if you don't want to be part, let's remove the boundaries and let's provide them with the URL for that particular functionality whereby you are not a part, but that hey, look at that's the location to that resource, or that's the location to have that experience. So go to that location and trust you me, you have that experience that you want. So we'll go ahead and then um we'll start creating two things. So we'll create a JSP to understand that JSPs they turn out to be servlets, and we'll create a servlet to do that. So let's first create some package here. Let's just have a base package com.automatic. Let's just keep it com.automatic, and we'll create um okay, we'll create our servlet in this class. So let's create we'll create our servlet in this class, but before we do that, let's create our JSP first. I think it will be much more better. So JSPs, we'll put them in the web content folder. Web content folder. Yeah, web app. Yeah, so web app. All right, so we'll put it here. So we'll create a new JSP. So the JSP we'll create here will just be automatic location. We'll call it automatic location.jsp. So that is the location of an automatic resource, or that's the page. Let's just say that's the location first. So that's the location. But I'm saying page because this is actually a page that you create. But let's just say location. Right. So go ahead and click on finish, and we'll call this one um, automatic location. Automatic location. Yeah. So what does this necessarily mean? So this is an automatic location that we want to create, but this one is coming as a page. Once it comes as a page, which means that it's going to be an interface. It's going to have an interface, which means that it's going to be a big hindrance to what we want to do. But if we want to achieve, we want to remove that hindrance that we are seeing, or because we made mention that we don't want to be a part of it, but you want to experience it. And the experience we want to gain is via a URL. We want to use a URL to be a part of that experience. But we don't want to be a part, we don't want to be actually be inside or have any interface blocking us. As it stands now, when we develop it as a page, it's a page. A page will definitely have some form of um, interference, or it kind of block you from actually having access to that resource, because it's a page. It's not a URL, but the JSPs become serverless. So if you go ahead and run this, sorry, go ahead and run this. I think I don't. Let's go ahead and run this. Uh, showing some squiggly, which I'm trying to understand why. Okay, yeah, I've closed the server. Let's do this. Let's open let's open let's run it again. Make reference to, let's remove this one. So we need a second directory. Right. Uh, so we are getting our page run. So we want to access this resource, and the way we access this resource is to go to the page. So if we go to the page right now, we are going to go to the page, and then we'll go to the page by using the name of the page, and we add the JSP. So this way of accessing it, that's with the URL, is a way of we trying to have an experience with the platform's features, or what the platform has decided that that's what you are going to um have a feel of. In other words, it's their manifesto to you, or their promise to you, or um that's their service. The way don't choose, I don't say proliferation, or that's the difference of services, but that's what they are saying, that when you join, you're a part, or when you're not a part, and you want to just have an experience. That's what the service will give to you. So they've told you what the service purpose or objective is, right? So we saw that in Facebook, if that's the case, you have to be a part of it, because you can't do anything without being a part. A good example is even LinkedIn per se. If you go to LinkedIn, or if you're a part of LinkedIn, you can have experience of the LinkedIn platform, but because you're not a part of LinkedIn, there are some experiences that you can't actually have access to. It could be the jobs service, or the jobs URL, or the jobs resource. Because LinkedIn promises you of jobs, coming on LinkedIn is the only way you can get that experience. So what if I'm not part of LinkedIn, but I want to have that experience of it? Because the LinkedIn interface is blocked by is blocked by a, a, um, an interface. It's because I'm a part of LinkedIn. That's why I'm able to access it. What if I wasn't a part of LinkedIn, like the Facebook? Then I definitely cannot have access to the jobs. So in our same case, we've created a URL for the particular location of that resource. When we go ahead and hit it, you realize that it's going to load whatever that is in on that location. So it's loading as blue. So this is what we have right now, but this is not the best, because this is a page. You can see it renders as a page. We don't want it to render as a page. We don't want to have a page being the way of accessing the application. That's not what we want. That's not the way we want people to have experience the with the platform at automatic service, or the name of the resource, or the host of that particular resource. We don't want this. And this way of doing it is with the JSP. So with the JSP is Java Server Pages. Java Server Pages. We don't want this way. Someone say, why don't you want it this way? And that's what we've explained earlier, that it's an interface. It could be blocked. It prevents you from having that feel of, I don't need to be a part of it, but I need to just interact with the platform. That's because it's a page. And I stress again, it's a page, and the JSPs or GSPs can is a servlet, or JSPs become serverlet. So this approach may not be the best, but the other approach that will work best for us will be a serverlet approach. And because a servlet is not a page, but a servlet, JSPs can become pages. So if you have a case whereby you don't use a page to do it, you can use a servlet to do it, because at the end of the day, the JSPs will become what? Pages. And it's a page because it ends with a .jsp. And you hitting a URL with a .jsp, it's a page. Because it's a page. It's a page. It's like it's a gate. Whatever you do, it's a gate. What you do, whatever you do, it's a gate. You have to pass through the gate, but maybe you don't want to pass through the gate. Then if they don't pass through the gate and the walls have holes around them, or it's a fence, then definitely you can pass through a fence, but you can't pass through a gate, because the gate is gated, but the fence is it can allow you to have access. So just take that it's a page. So how do we get this thing done? So now let's create a proper use case. A good use case is, let's say we have on Facebook platform, we have or the LinkedIn jobs platform, we have a jobs resource, but you don't need to be a part of LinkedIn to have feel of that jobs experience. No, you don't need to. So in what way are we going to make this possible? Because if you give them a page, definitely, definitely, a page is not what they want. Because if you once you give a page definitely means that there's an interference and it may require a lot. So we may not give them we can't give them a page for the particular use case, but we can give them a servlet, because the JSP page will become a servlet. So let's look at this case whereby we create a servlet now. Servlet. And we call this also automatic servlet, automatic location servlet. It's a class, so let's start with a capital. It's a Java class, so let's name it role. Automatic location servlet. Then we go to next. We can actually modify this. So let's just finish everything. All right, good. So this is the difference. So this one, this time around, let's import. We'll fix this. So this time around, we have a servlet. And a servlet is what's going to help us to do to perform that function that a page is supposed to do, but a page can do, because a page will give you a full display of a page, just as we saw. Just as we saw over here. But we don't want that. So let's go ahead and do the JSP, the servlet approach. So the servlet approach, what we do is that when we hit the resource at that URL, the page, the servlet will help us to get to that experience we want to feel. But the page cannot help us, because the page, once the page renders, the page is going to show everything, and we don't want the page to show everything. So we'll go ahead and do a servlet. Right. So what we do now is we'll, let's fix the servlet pathway with the web XML. Right. So we'll change the servlet mapping. So let's make this one just automatic location servlet. And because it's a servlet, I don't need to add a .jsp, but the Java server pages will become a servlet. So what we are just doing now is that if I go to this URL, that's automatic location, and I define some methods here for that location, because it's a page, because it's a servlet, it has two operations. There are two operations showing now. You have the do get and the do post. So if I hit this URL, there's something I can do for the do get part. That's when I'm loading the page. I'm loading the servlet. Yeah, so when I'm loading the servlet, what I can do is that I can actually go ahead and print something else. So let's do this. So we'll go ahead and do get writer. Let me see, not print. Go to my intelligence is okay. Let's fix this first before. Yeah, let's fix this. Let's go to automatic build path. Let's change this to Java 17 or more, Java 8 or more. Sorry. Um, yeah, I think it's edit. Yeah. Then let's use a workstation to Java 17 and apply and close. It has to show. Right, let's change again. Build path. We've done that, and then this is the server support. That's project facets. Runtimes. Let's choose default configuration Java 17, and then let's pick this as a runtime. Yes, we are trying to get the access to the JS. That's the web resources or the web APIs. Right, so it's gone. So what we have to do is now just get our writer. This is print. So let's do print and let's do string. Right, so we print our string here. So what we are just doing now is that we are going to print our a resource when we do a do get. So let's look at this. For a do get, there are two things we can do. First, we can actually call. Let's just do this append. So let's just say hello. So when we call this URL, that's the automatic location servlet. Because we are calling it on the browser, we can definitely see the hello. So we have to see hello. So let's go ahead and make that call. So we'll go ahead, we'll call this URL. Console. Our server is still running. So let's just go ahead and call. So we are going to go to the servlet and let's watch this. Okay, so it says automatic location servlet. All right, so let's the server hasn't. Let's try again. If it complains of 404, then we'll have to fix this. All right, so let's fix this by restarting this. Let's just restart the server and check this out. All right, so let's now go to the resource. Good. So we realize that when we hit the servlet, we have the fill of a page. It just says hello. So the servlet is the just become pages, but the servlet, we just a servlet, we get a hello, which is rendering like a page. But it doesn't have the .jsp, which means that we are not going to be hindered by an interface. We are the ones who define how you should even process stuff. So that's the beauty about the servlet. It may look complicated, but the truth is that that's the theory, that's the special use case that we're looking at. So this is what I want us to look at now. I'm saying that when I do a do get, I don't want us to even show it as a page. I want it to perform a process that is automatic into the application, but we are not part of the application. So how are we going to do that? We can do that by calling the do post over here. Do post. So when we call do post over here, We're actually having more control of how we want the resource here to be shown, or how we want the resource here to perform a certain process, not just a page. Like what we are seeing over here, it's just a page, not just as a page, but behind that beauty about a serverlet, we can actually do so many complicated stuff and not just show as a what? A page. A page can't do that because it's a page. It's a page. It's not, but this is not a page. This is a serverlet. So that's the difference between a JSP and a serverlet. It's quite confusing, but the truth is that's the difference. And or that's what the difference I have come to experience or come to understand. Yeah, I think it's much better I say that because I only share experiences I've come across. So if we do a do get now, we are supposed to perform a do post. And the do post, if we call the do post, probably after the, not probably, but after the do post is done, we can actually go ahead and do what? Have access to that page because the condition here is that don't just say hello to me when I try to access the page or try to have access to the resource. Don't just say hello. I want you to actually process something, perform some functionality because it's a do post and it's protected and it's in a Java class. This is a Java class. This is just not a server. It is a Java class. And then we are using OOP principles of data members, data fields, field methods, field properties. Definitely, it being protected, which means it's coming from a mother, and it being within the same class, which is encapsulated. We can actually call the do post inside a do get, which is very cool. But the page is just rendering as a do get. The page is just rendering as a do get. But we can actually do a do post inside the servlet with after we've done some complexity or some processing over here. So with that in mind, so what will be the condition for us to do our do post? The condition for us to do our do post is based on the use case we have. So you are not a part of Facebook, but how do you have a feel of that jobs offer? Probably you have to have access to it. So let's do something that will make it have access. So your friend has shared you the URL, you have received the URL for that feature access, but you are not a part of that platform. So let's just create some username and password whereby you can just go inside and do that. Or your friend, the URL that your friend will share will bear your mobile number to your mobile number to say that it was generated for you but nobody else. So that's what your friend can do. So when he has your number, then he shares it to you. Then you use your number to go ahead and have a feel of that platform's access or a feel of that. Sorry, this is not your trading. A feel of that experience or that resource. It could be a job resource, but you are not part of that platform. So you just pick your number, and with your number, he says, once I have your number, hey, you are good to go and see the jobs. So let's go ahead and even create the jobs page. So we'll go ahead and create a jobs page. So you create as a JSP. So go to the jobs page. So jobs page. Or just say jobs.jsp. So when you come to the jobs, then you see that jobs. So this is where we have all a list of all the jobs that probably want to see. So just put it which one you want to see jobs from around the world. Yeah. So something like this. So this is what we show when we go to the jobs page. And the jobs page is a resource that exists part of that platform, but because you're not a part of the platform, you can't see it. So your friend is going to give you that special access you need, or that special privilege, or that automatic process for you to get that job without you being part of it. So you pick your number. So how are we going to do this now? So what we do is that when we come to the do post, we know that when we finish calling the do post, which is to perform whatever function it has to perform, we'll have to go to the page. So we'll say response.send redirect to the page. So jobs.jsp. Why is it complaining? Let's just terminate it. So we've done this. We've done this. Get several contests. Isn't it a string? Okay, it's not complaining, it's a string. So you get several context part. I think we need to leave context part right away. You can still use this approach. So let's start get context part. Yeah. Yeah, so this is also one approach of doing that. So the do post simply says that when we do a do get, instead of we showing just hello at first, what we do is that we use your phone number. So when your friend calls the automatic location um, page, but this time not a page, but a servlet, we will just pick his number. Close that guest session. We will set his number in the session because that will be the session for him, or that will be the boundary for him to be able to do what he wants to do. Get session or set attributes. Then we call it your friend mobile number. And you give it your friend your mobile number, the number that he has to provide. So this is your friend's mobile number. And because it's a global platform, it will start with code. So this is what we will say. So your friend will come, do a do get. And if your friend is providing you the phone number and everything, and we are setting it up in the session, if we do a do post here, even before we go ahead and show the page, we can even check to see if that's the phone number of your friend or if that's the number that your friend has presented, because your friend will definitely click on the, not just click, but will go to that URL to do that work. Okay. Yeah, so let's just understand that we're not just going to show a page this time around or just hello like we saw. We are going to do more than that. We are going to actually, we're not just going to show hello. We're actually going to move from hello to another page. So we'll go ahead and say this is what we do. We'll get our friend's phone number, and then we'll display our friend's phone number. We can display our friend's phone number on the page. All right, so we'll have response, send redirect, and that. So we are okay with this. So what we do now is that let's just go to the page and let's render the phone number, and we use the phone number to welcome the person. So we'll go ahead and say um request dot get session dot get attribute, and the attribute you get is your friend. Let's pick the same key, your friend mobile number. So we're just going to say welcome. Before we add the welcome, let's put the text first. Let's put this in paragraph and say welcome. Then the number is just an echo, so we don't have this. Okay. So go with the welcome, then we display the text, then this change cause a problem. Let's just why I just doing an echo, so I don't need to even add the terminator. So this was will show the welcome and then go ahead. So hello. Yep. There's an issue. Request to get session one attribute. I don't believe that I have to do this here. No, it's not the right way. So I'm just wondering where this curly bracket is coming from. Right, so let's run this. So what I'm just saying is that when we go now to the do get, It's not just going to do a do get. It's actually going to send us to the jobs pages, but we are not part of the platform. So let's just run this and see how it will work now. So we start again, run it. Right. So the way we are going to do that is to go to the automatic location servlet. So we'll go to that URL. Voila, so it says those from around the world, then welcome and that. So realize that it took us to the jobs.jsp, but we entered it with, we didn't just go there directly. Um, we went there via the serverlet approach. So we read the serverlet, and the serverlet takes us here now. And that's the beauty about using the serverlet as to the page. With the page, realize that the page, you have to be on the page. You have to be on the page. It's a page. But with the serverlet approach, it's not just a page, it's actually a serverlet. So it's code, or it's not a page, it's Java code. So you just go ahead and hit the URL. Then, because it's code and we can actually control what we want, we go ahead and then we get whatever we want to see over here, and it takes us to the page. So that's the automatic process that we want to look at. So without talking much, we start. You want to see a jobs platform. You're not part of the jobs platform, but you have your friend is part, and your friend wants to send that to you, so you can have a feel of that online experience. Using a page is a page, so it won't give you that feel that you want. By using a servlet, looking at the control we have by just doing this programming, you realize that it cause a lot of damages in code to the application. When I say damages, in other words, we become more nerdy or more geeky in what we want to achieve. So that's it for this cool film in regards to what you want to achieve. And let's not forget that we had interface and we had an interference. So we had to find a solution around that, and we found that solution with a servlet. And before we go, let's understand that the JSP is a Java server page. Java server page. So a Java language that is Java server, but it's for page. So let's just take it that it's a Java server. So once we understand Java server, the page automatically we know that it's a page, and then that servlet is not just a page, but servlet is the code or the program. You could say a thread, you could say a process, you could say it's more programmable in regards to not it being an interface, but a servlet. And this is Java server page. Okay, guys, so that will be for this school film. And if you still struggle to understand why we did this school film, it's just for us to understand that we are not part of an online platform, but with the help of the JSP, we've been able to be a part of it. With the help of JSP and Servlet, we use JSPs for the page handling, and we use Servlet to mimic that we're on a page, but we actually go to the JSP. Thank you guys, and I'll see you later.